Americans are facing a high-priced drug crisis. From 2012 to 2017, brand-name drug prices increased at 10 times the rate of inflation. During this time, prescription drug prices became the #1 factor impacting health coverage costs. This happened as pharmaceutical companies released drugs priced at $1,000 a pill and drastically raised prices on decades-old and unchanged medications. But there's more to the story. While this was going on, generic drugs were supposed to help balance out the market. But there are laws keeping these drugs from seeing the light of day. While the laws themselves don't have bad intentions, Pharma is gaming the system, using a battalion of tactics to keep generic drugs off the market. Number 1. Patent stacking. Drug makers file for as many patents as possible, claiming innovation on trivial qualities like pill color and packaging. Revlimid, which treats blood cancer, has 105 separate patents, effectively blocking generic versions of the drug for 40 years. Meanwhile, Revlimid has increased in price by over 50% and is now priced at $125,000 a year. Number 2. Pay to delay agreements. Drug makers simply pay companies to not release generics. Teva, the maker of Provigil, paid $300 million to 4 generic manufacturers so they would stay off the market for 6 years. Deals like these cost Americans about $3.5 billion every year in higher healthcare costs. Number 3. Petition bonanza. Drug makers are flooding the FDA with petitions to block generics. These petitions range from the absurd, like Mutual Pharmaceuticals' petition asking the FDA to determine what type of orange juice was used during the testing of a generic drug, to the downright untrue, like the petition from EpiPen maker Mylan, claiming a generic EpiPen had a 93% failure rate, a figure based on a Mylan Commission study, which experts called flawed from start to finish. Unfortunately, these tactics are just the tip of the iceberg. Pharma has armed themselves with countless ways to keep generics off the market. Meanwhile, if the number of generic prescriptions increased by just 1%, Americans would save $1.4 billion a year. It's time to end the games. Learn more about the high-priced drug crisis at RunawayRx.org.